What is up, my brothers? I am TJ. This is Uncommon, and so are you. Hey guys, welcome to Uncommon Live, where we encourage men to be the husband, dad, and leader they were always meant to be. Now, if you're new to our segment, we step in here every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern. You can check it out when it's good for you, but be sure to comment, be sure to subscribe to our channel, and hit that notification button. Now, leave me a comment here, and I will check in as I go along or get back to you after the live is finished. This week, we're working on Dad Strong. Father's Day is coming up this Sunday. Don't forget to tell your dad Happy Father's Day and thank him for all the things he did and all the things he didn't do. But this week, we're talking about Dad Strong. No cape needed. So we just launched our new devotion on YouVersion called Dad Strong, and we have our monthly virtual Bible study is happening the last Tuesday of this month at 8:30 Eastern time, and we're focusing on Dad Strong as well. So it is June 17th here. So be sure to check your calendar if you watch this video in the future. Don't get your days and years mixed up. All right, guys, let's jump into it. So I started thinking about this, and I don't know, maybe it's because I've been seeing so much stuff around the NFL season. My brain broke this up into a first half and a second half as a dad, because there is definitely a transition, and we can use that as a halftime analogy. But let's talk about that first half of the role of dad. And these may have some younger children, younger situations. So the first thing we recommend is lead by example. You want your children to have a great work ethic? Get up and go to work every day. I know that sounds very basic, but they mimic what they see and what they hear. Help around the house. Teach your children some fundamentals in life, like how to change a tire, how to cook, or even how to drive. Next one. This is always big with Uncommon. Speak with truth and grace. So let your yes be yes and your no be no, the Bible says. Speak with your children and not at them. And be sure to talk about your mistakes. Be purposeful when you're talking about Jesus in your faith. Sometimes we come across as we have it all together, or sometimes we come across as you should do this, and that means that we know better. Sometimes we need to talk about our mistakes, that I tried doing it this way or the way you're doing it, and it worked out with this for me. I'm trying to help you avoid that mistake. The next one, get involved. Now, this seems kind of easy to say, but if your son wants to play Pee-wee baseball, go down there and offer to help in some fashion, even coach the team. If your daughter wants to have a tea party, well, you sit down and ask for a double shot, maybe English breakfast or even Earl Grey for me. Number 4, let's set some boundaries. Boundaries are good for everyone, for you and your children. Even if your children squawk and complain about boundaries, they need them. Even we need boundaries. But set realistic boundaries and be consistent. Number 5, be ready for change. Now, in our analogy, between first half and second half, this right here would be the end of the second quarter. 2 minutes to go. Be ready to change. As your children grow, they're going to need you to grow with them. After all, how you parent a 9-year-old is vastly different than how you parent a 17-year-old. So that's our first half, just about on pace. All right, we just finished our halftime. That was quick, I know. But here we go into the second half. The first one is old dogs, new tricks. Now, you're going to have to embrace things that you may not have embraced before, such as technology. As your children may communicate more with you there than in person. You may find that your children text you more than they actually speak to you. Maybe because of distance, they're at school or they're at work, whatever it is. But you need to embrace some new tricks. Know when to adapt and when not to. Now, you may need to learn, and I may need to learn, that the old way of thinking, like maybe about race, needs to change, rightfully so. You may need to stand your ground on what you believe, but make sure it's within God's will. If you're wrong, if I'm wrong, I need to take responsibility of that and say that I'm wrong. But if we focus on God's will for our life and what's right and what's wrong, I would say that we will never have to apologize or question our position on a topic. The next one, still needed, but differently. So gone may be the days in our second half analogy where we're teaching them to ride that bike or even drive that car. But don't worry, they will need you when discussing things like their career, their marriage, kids, money, even retirement. I used to have a friend that said, small kids, small problems or small conversations, big kids, big conversations. The next one, don't fade away. Now, guys, whether you're on the front or the back nine of this illustration, don't fade away. Stay active in your family and keep building relationships. Just because your children may have grown to move out of the house, they have families of their own, don't fade away. Stay active in their lives because they still need a mentor. And if you are not there for them, they will find someone else. So it might as well be you. You've invested with them through the first part. Why not complete the process and be there for the second part? And the last one is dad strong. The last thing you want to see happen to your children after you work and put in when they're growing up is for someone else to lead them away from Christ as they grow older. Keep engaging them, challenging them, and talking about Jesus with them because they're going to be exposed to all kinds of threats, no matter what their age is. You may find that when they go off to college, they are bombarded with all kinds of bad thinking, bad theology, or just outright atheism. And if it's their first time away from home, that's going to be a struggle. You may find that they get exposed to a lot of things like that in their first job, or they just start to struggle when things become more complicated, like getting married, buying a house, having kids, employment, all these things that make life complicated. So, as you can see, whether first half or second half, our calling does not change. The color of our hair or the placement of it might, but the calling does not. So let's wrap this up with our truth and grace. And as you can see, your role as a dad may change over the years, but our calling never does. And so I have 3 quick verses for you. Proverbs 27, the righteous who walks in his integrity, blessed are his children after him. Psalm 103:13, as a father shows compassion to his children, so the Lord shows compassion to those who fear him. In Proverbs 22:6, train up a child in the way he should go. Even when he is old, he will not depart from it. So the challenge this week is pray for wisdom, reflect Jesus, dad strong, and be uncommon. So guys, thank you for joining us today. I pray that this has been a blessing to someone who needed to hear it right before Father's Day. And so with that being said, since you're going to be something, be uncommon.